You've made it to CMC Stamps. I'm Trisha Williams, and I'm going to teach you guys one of the funnest cards ever. I know, I'm like a little kid because I love these shaker cards. So not only is Christmas and glitter and bling one of my favorite things, but shaker cards kind of combine them all. So yeah, they're pretty awesome. So I wanted to show you how fun it is just to shake and to move around and move the stuff inside. I recently made a very similar shaker card, and in this it said Happy New Baby. So this one's a fun one too, and maybe one of these days I'll get to show you how to make that one. But today we're going to make the Merry Christmas one. So you see that I have an assortment of glitter that I used. And I used a couple other things like stamp set and some cutters and my Big Shot machine. I even used a little teaspoon, half teaspoon, to measure out my glitter. And I'm going to go ahead and bring you up top to show you how to do this. Also wanted to mention one thing that you're going to absolutely want is the foam adhesive strips from Stampin' Up. All right, let's bring you up above so I can show you how to make this cool card. All right, let's get started. You want to make this cool shaker card. So it has it has a whole bunch of different glitter inside it. That's what gives it its look. So fun, I love it. Okay, so let's start out just by telling you the basics of where to start. Oh, also real quick, I wanted to show you this one that I showed on the other video, or on the front of the video, just to make sure you got to see it. And like, they just kind of move around all the cool things inside, and then of course it says baby inside. But let's get back to our Merry Christmas card. Okay, I've already kind of done a template of this so that if you're in my stamp club, for example, and you're doing this with me in person, you'll have a white piece of paper cut out without the Christmas stamped, without the circle. But I want you to know, very important, that you stamp your Christmas first in Memento black ink, which is right here. So you're going to use Memento black ink, which is non-permanent. It's my favorite black, I'm just saying. I like that ink. So put Christmas on there first. Then you can use the template. So let's say you have your piece of white paper underneath and you go to cut it. You're using the Big Shot. You have your cutting plates, all that there. You've got your cutter side down of your circle. And what I would do is kind of just eyeball it, put it there, and then you can put this on top as your template, just to see if you're in the right spot. For example, I needed to go down on this one, so I'd go down a little bit, and then I would take my template off without moving where my circle is at, and run it through the Big Shot. It's best to use the magnetic plate with this so it doesn't move around. Okay, once you have this piece, then you gotta get this cool snowflake type texture on it by using an emboss folder. The emboss folder that we're going to use is Softly Fallen by Stampin' Up, and I'm going to bring my Big Shot machine right on over. It's all ready to go, but I'll show you how I sandwiched it all together. I used my platform, which is new, and you want to take off the second level, so your platform. And if you have the old version of this comes with the newer Big Shots as of, I want to say from June, they started doing this. If you have the old version, you want to use either tab 1 or the first just plain platform. So take all the tabs back. I use tab 1. Then you use this standard cutting pad. Mine's pretty beat up. Then you put your little folder. See how it folds up? Okay, the part that's divoted in is the part that you want at the top, which means that you're going to have an impression going up towards the top of the paper. So that's the way that you want to put it in there and sandwich it in between. And then just grab a clear cutting pad on top. And then it's easy as just making sure it's aligned. Now, one thing to note, make sure that it's not coming out here on the edges. Some of these big ones just barely fit in, and I have accidentally kind of hit the corner and damaged it since they're only made of plastic. Once you're ready, go ahead and go through. There's not a ton of resistance with this one. It's actually quite easy to go all the way through, and you kind of hear it just make its little noise. And go ahead and take it out and see how you liked it. Oh, that is gorgeous. It got just a little bit of flakes on it. but that's what it looks like. Okay, let's move the big shot out of the way. So I'm going to bring my card back. Let's go ahead and get our card base just flattened out. So you can use a bone folder or your finger works just fine. Depends on how precise you like to be. All right, so we got that card base ready. We've got this part ready. So now what we're going to do is flip this around to the back. So see how if you want a different look in the impression with the emboss folder, you could use the back side of the paper or you could use the front. But we're going to turn this around for today, and we're going to put this sheet on. This is called a window sheet, and I just cut it a certain size. I'll put the dimensions up. And I'm going to end up doing glue dots on this. So I'm going to do one glue dot in each corner just to make it pretty secure. And then I just found it was easiest with glue dots, to tell you the truth. Everything else kind of got hard. Snell didn't quite keep it in place, and the regular glue took forever to dry. Once that's done, this part's pretty easy. You just want to make sure that you get it down pretty firm on all corners. And then you've got your window sheet. Now sometimes these glue dots kind of sneak their way through. So just with your fingernail, make sure that they're not seen from the front. Another thing to pay attention to is sometimes you often get stuff on your window sheet, like, I don't know, some little scrapings or extra things. Just gently take it off with your finger, or you could rinse it with water beforehand if you really want. Make sure your surface is clean that you put it down on. Be careful because these window sheets scratch really easily, so we don't want to do that. Okay, next thing to do is we're going to kind of line up where we want. See how I just did a circle just slightly bigger than the ornament on the front? And I did that so we don't have to use a ton of Pool Party. You also could use Pool Party as your background of your card if you want for the card base. But see how I lined this up? I kind of used the front as my template to see where I wanted it and kind of got an idea. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to use my Snell, which I don't have with me. So you can use Snell or you could use your green glue, and I'm just going to use the green glue because it's here. And it dries pretty quickly. So cool thing about green glue, which I love, is put it down really softly. And if it's not in the right spot, which it is, you can move it around real quick. But it's in the right spot, so I'm going to just like put a little bit of pressure, let it dry, okay? All right, flip this around to the back. I'm just going to do it so you can see the background there. Grab your foam adhesive strips, and I think we end up using about 1.5 of these. Since it's new, I'm just having a hard time getting one out. There we go. So I'm getting one out, and you can see how long they are, and they kind of fold and bend. All right, so what you do is you're going to start at a corner, and you're going to be just behind the outside of the window sheet. So I've turned this to the back side. And as I'm going, I'm kind of just putting a little bit of pressure down, and I'm making sure I'm staying close to the circle. You can see the circle outlined in blue. And I'm just kind of going close to that. Now, I kind of make sure that my page is flat as I'm doing this. And then I'm going to grab scissors. Okay, so I got some scissors that I don't mind getting kind of sticky. So I cut that there. Now, the first time I did this, I did one strip all the way around, and it didn't hold very well. I didn't like the way that it worked out. So what I would suggest, what Stampin' Up! Suggests, is that you cut it in certain spots. So you do one of these strips, but you cut it in probably 3 or 4 places. And this is why I think we need one and just a little bit extra of another one. Okay, one thing I've noticed is sometimes it makes it kind of bend and fold up. So I want to make sure I'm kind of keeping this flat as I'm putting it on. Now, do you see that there's just a little bit of a gap right here? Perfect. So that little gap we're going to fill in with just a tiny bit of another adhesive strip. So I'm grabbing out another adhesive strip, and I'm going to cut it about the size that I think that is on one side. And then I'm going to adjust on the other if I need to. Yeah, I'm just going to basically cut a little corner off of here. And you want it to fit pretty nice and firm there so that you're not going to lose any glitter. Because this is basically the barrier to keep your glitter inside there. Okay, so that's basically what we did. We put it all the way around. So now your glitter is going to stay within your window sheet and within this. I'm going to show you a little trick. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm going to go show you a little trick I recently learned. This is an emboss buddy used for embossing to kind of demagnetize. It's got a little chalk in it, and I'm running it around the edges. One reason I'm doing this is so that all your glitter doesn't stick to the side. And the next thing that you want to do is make sure that it doesn't look super, that you're kind of getting rid of any of the extra I don't know, what would you call it? The extra little pieces of paper or crumbs that stay in there. Perfect. Okay, next we're going to grab our glitter. This is getting fun. We're getting to the fun stuff. I'm going to flatten this out so it stays flat for me. Okay. I'm going to do silver this time, but this other one has gold in it. So grab a little handful of these, which I think I ended up using about, I don't know, 7 or probably like 10 of those. And it's up to you if you want to use this smaller size. I don't think actually I'm going to do that this time. And I'm going to use this cool thing. I got this from Michael's, and it's Recollections sequence glitter, and it's got all these different kinds. So you can choose the kind that you want. I'm honestly going to go with silver this time. And how much of that I did, because I marked out how much you need. So I did 1/4 of a teaspoon, and you can do multiple colors if you want. So if you're going to do more than one color, like in this one I did this cool like kind of white glittery one right there, and then I did a gold. So this one I'm going to try to see what I think it looks like to do some silver and a tiny bit of this really pretty iridescent color sequence. I'm going to do a little bit of that too. And that's why it's good to have a measuring, so you don't go crazy, because otherwise honestly you end up doing too much. And this can get messy. Do you see how I'm kind of placing it all in the center? I think that we got too much of that, so I'm putting a little bit back. All right, you will have glitter that goes to the side. No worries, just get it in your hand and you can put it back away. All right, so we've got all our silver. Now we're going to do this really cool marquee glitter. It's just kind of a fun, it's really just reminds me of snow. It's perfect for snow. You can use bigger flakes too. Stampin' Up! Has these really cool chunky flakes that I love. I just didn't get a chance to get it for this video. Okay, for this I'm just doing 1/4. And this one's a little harder to make sure you just keep in the middle. So just be very gentle. And then I would clean off the extra ones that are on your little teaspoon, because we've got just one more. If you want to just leave it like that and have it be like more of a snowy kind of look, I would leave it like that. I'm curious to see what this light kind of champagne looks like in here, because it kind of adds a little bit to the snow. Now this one is the chunky glitter champagne color that I only used 1/8 of that. So about half of that 4th teaspoon. I said this was a 1/2 teaspoon. I apologize. It's a 4th teaspoon. So you just barely use any. So there, we're all done with that part. Now one thing, you just don't want to get glitter on the outside. So use your little fingers and sweep it into the middle so that when you go to glue it on, you don't have any problems. We're almost done, you guys. Okay, take off the little backing right here all the way around with your 4 little pieces that you have. Just take off your backing. Perfect. So I got it all off, and then I just center where I want it to look. You know, make sure it's centered on your card. Now the reason that I put all my glitter on my blue part in my card base and not in here is because I can see where I'm putting it. A very common mistake, I made it several times, is to turn this around thinking it's a lovely cup to hold all your glitter, but then when you go out to put on your card base, you can't see. You're like, whoa, where does that go? So it's a little complicated. Okay, put that on, and I did forget to show you guys, where did those, oh, here we go. Okay, so I've got these little dimensionals, and I'm supposed to have 4 of these. Basically, I took 2 half dimensionals, and I stuck them together. Oh, this is pretty. I can tell. I really like it. So I wanted to make a double dimensional since these little strips are a little bit thicker than just one dimensional by itself. So I added 2 on top of itself. I'll show you how to do that. Since I am low one, I might as well show you how to do it. And then I put these on all corners. Now I would have normally done this before I had to put this part down. And one thing to note, I would make sure that you get the sticky part down pretty well so that your glitter isn't going to get stuck in it or move. You know, it's gonna go where it needs supposed to go. Oh, it's so pretty, all in silver, and then you see it all in gold. So perfect. I love both of them. I do love silver and gold, but probably more of a gold. But they look so pretty together. Okay. I was talking and not showing. I've taken my dimensionals, cut them in half, and then I used 2 halves like this, and I got the sticky side on the sticky side and just line them up, and then you just take the backings off and get them put in your corners. Okay, so why I do that is because otherwise it would lose its dimension and it just flops down. So you want to make sure that you have these other spots kind of sticking up with some fun dimension. Now, so you can see what it looks like. You may want to add some gold in with the silver, but it's up to you. I mean, what's cool is you can just do whatever you want. Turn your Mary around, which I cut with the Christmas greetings, which are still in our main catalog. And I used the Mary. You're going to want to use the precision base plate, and you cut with this side up. You can tell I've used it a lot. So you're going to get your red paper. You're going to put your Mary on it. And this would be on you'd have your platform base underneath. And then just put one of those clear acrylic cutting pads over and run it through your Big Shot. That's how I got my Mary. I like to sometimes have things ready for you guys, so we just do it quick. Then I'm going to use my multi-purpose Tombow green glue. And you can do dots, or you can kind of just streak it all the way around. However you want to do it. But let's just do it fast. Then I put my Mary off to the side just where I thought it looked cute. I like the Y going up at an angle. And you just glue it on there. And you just let it dry. Make sure all your edges are down. Okay, grab a glue dot, and then if you're in my stamp club, I already cut these guys out for you because they're so little. But I used the ornament cutters. I can't remember the name, but I'll put it up on the screen. And you got a glue dot that's right there, if you can see. And then I would bring the paper to the glue dot, and I used crumb cake paper to cut this little ornament top out. And then I'm going to put that kind of at an angle like that. And then all that you need, which I don't have with me, is just to tie a cute little bow with this baker's twine that has a little bit of red bling to it. And you're done. So now you get to see what it looks like in gold and silver and see which one's your favorite. So I hope you've enjoyed learning how to do a shaker card. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you later. Bye.